Greetings and salutations. I'm Zook, your lovable dungeon master, and we're gonna have a heart-to-heart this time. It's not a stream, not a video, but this will be kind of a summarization of things. As many of you may have noticed, those who are watching the Tyranny of Talk either on YouTube or on Twitch, the Tyranny of Talk is no longer streaming. And I wanted to kind of go over the reasons why. Now, there's like no fault to the players, and it's probably largely my fault as a DM for not picking up on the social cues earlier in the campaign. Um, However, basically, we got together as a group and we all sort of agreed that the characters weren't really clicking the way that they would have liked, and that people were kind of more going along with the story for the sake of the story rather than what their characters may or may not have done. This is not a healthy way to run a game. So we got together and we decided that it would be best just kind of cancel things and go our own ways. And like I said, Zay, Uba, Kai, and myself, we're all still very much friends. There was no drama over this. Sometimes games just don't work out, and that's perfectly okay. And it's better to realize that early on in the game rather than have it keep going just for the sake of continuing the game. It can create more animosity down the line if you don't recognize that at the beginning and end up having to have something blow out because something didn't go the way you wanted it to. It happens, and it is okay to admit that. So what this video is about, we're going to basically summarize what happened to all the characters and give some finality to the campaign. I've contacted all of the players involved of basically what their characters might do from that point where they left Averlund. And so without further ado, we're going to cut to more of a narrative way of explaining things and summarizing what happened at the end of Tyranny of Talk. Thanks for watching. After escaping the city of Averlund, our heroes find themselves at a crossroads. Where would they go? What would they do from here on out? Would they continue following the path of the Manticore, or continue their life in a different way? Here are their stories. Terrazandian Kovash. The Silver Dragonborn sought adventure above all else, and the path of the Manticore and helping free the people of Talk was an appealing adventure for him. But there was another calling that would catch his attention. Upon inspecting his Obanite sword, he found that the pendant he wore around his neck broke open with vines from a mysterious blue flower he obtained from his younger years, growing out from within. The flower, later found out to be a ribis flower, seemed to have a mystical effect when in the vicinity of Obanite. After hearing of the plague sweeping the southern region of Tofkra, he felt that there might be a connection between the flower and the scourge affecting the wildlife to the south. Fighting abominations and seeking a cure to the affliction of the land, our hero wandered Orth in search for a cure to what would later be called the Entropic Scourge, bringing the planet of Orth into a new era known as the Era of Plight. Eventually, Kovash would travel the seas, crossing the oceans to the southern continent of Nal, after finding it to be the source of the plague. The ship has never returned, and the Dragonborn was never heard from again. Bimkin. Our enthusiastic drow monk waited for his moment and eventually returned to the city of Averlund. Though he set forth on his adventure to see the world after finding the young gnome Ophelia Timbers cooking, he fell in love with the world of baking and the sweet treats it had to offer. Apprenticing under Ophi, Bimkin soon became widely known for his cooking and culinary skills where people from all around Talk would come to Averlund just to sample his goods. The gnome and the drow would soon fall in love and marry, taking the oath of bonding under the new rule of Averlund as the control shifted to the covertly operating Manticore. Due to this, Ophi and Bimkin were able to remain safe and eventually officially adopted the young Azamar Ash until her sudden disappearance on her 16th birthday. Bimkin would search for the young child, but eventually was visited by the Hound Archon Ezekiel and reassured of the child's safety and the bigger purpose she was destined for. To this day, Ophi and Bimkin remain in Averlund in the Homestead Bakery, living a happy and content life away from danger. Bimkin dedicated his talents to perfecting a dessert that perfectly encapsulated his feelings for Ophi. Despite developing a reputation for his unparalleled talents over his many centuries of life, long outliving the gnome, he would maintain on his deathbed that he was good, but never quite good enough. Ash. After being adopted by Bimkin and Ophi, Ash was finally able to enjoy 5 peaceful years of being a child without the constant threat of imprisonment. The new mayor of Averlund absolved her of her crimes of theft, and she finally knew peace. On her 16th year of birth, the Hound Archon Ezekiel appeared in front of the Aasimar, telling her of a destiny not on the material plane of Orth. Taking Ash to Mount Celestia, she became trained in the arts of battle after meeting her Trumpet Archon patron. Trained in battle, the Aasimar would lead legions of angels, archons, and celestials into battle, taking the eternal fight between angels and devils to their plane of existence of the Nine Hells. She would eventually appear to her adoptive parents, bringing them to her home on Mount Celestia, where they would tell endless embarrassing stories to her elite troops while ingratiating themselves to the armies of the heavens with only the finest of baked goods. The Ash we knew, however, became a force to be reckoned with, hunting down evil wherever it might show its face. And there you have it. So concludes the campaign of the Tyranny of Talk. I want to thank everyone for joining us through this adventure, and until next time, toodaloo.